What's up? It's Whitney, bro. Today I'm going to be using the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Volume 1 palette. Sadly, it's only ever going to be a Volume 1. But in case you weren't into makeup when it came out, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to do a look with this since this is a very beautiful, very lovely, but discontinued palette. So if that sounds like something you're into, stay tuned. We're going to jump right on in. So I have decided that I'm going to do just a kind of basic brown smoky eye, but I'm going to try to elevate it a little bit with the glitter. Going in with my favorite eyeshadow primer, which is the Be Perfect Prime. It just primes like no other. And not only does it work with their eyeshadow formula, it works with lots of different eyeshadow formulas. So I've never specifically used it with the Tati Beauty because I didn't get into this primer till after the height of that palette's popularity. But we're going to use it today and it should turn out good. Now that our eyes are all primed, I am actually going to go in with, I'm going to do the darkest shade first. I've kind of been on a semi kick of doing that lately. So technically it's going to be the second darkest because I'm going to go back in with black to really deepen things up. But the first shade that I'm going to use is the Ritual Matte, which is this deep brown right here. And that is just going to go right into the outer corner. This is one of my favorite palettes. I really wish that Tati Beauty would have existed a little bit longer to come out with more than just one palette, because I know that they would have matched the quality of this one, and it really would have been something spectacular, because this one really knocked our socks off when it came out. Next, I'm going to go into that shade Soothe Matte, which is this lighter brown, and I'm going to use that to blend out the edges of the shade that we just laid down. This palette still blends like a dream even after 7 years, I want to say is how old this palette is. It might only be 6 because it was pre-pandemic. I know that much. But it still blends and performs like I got it yesterday. So I really am pleasantly surprised by that, but also I feel good about the price that I paid for it because it is a product that has such longevity. So what discontinued palettes do you guys own or want me to talk about? If I own them, I'd be happy to do a video on them. Obviously, I'm limited to what's in my collection for this series because it's not like I can go purchase a discontinued palette, but If there's anything that you want to see or would like to see me feature or talk about, definitely let me know because I would be happy to do so. So now I'm going to go in with the shade Memory Matte right here, which is just a matte black shade. And we're going to go ahead and deepen up the very outer corner. And then I'm going to go back in with that Ritual Matte shade, the first one that I blended in, and we're going to use that to blend out the black. I know I said it earlier in the video, but I love going darkest to lightest. It feels like my eyeshadow turns out more how I pictured it in my head when I go from darkest to lightest. And I don't want the shadow down there, which is why I'm wiping it away. It was just a little too low. Okay, so now that the mattes are where we want them, I'm going to jump right back on in with the... Actually, I think I'm going to use 3 shimmer shades. So I'm going to go in first with the Ritual Shimmer, which is the kind of chocolatey brown shimmer. And I'm going to use that on the furthest edge of my eye, closest to the outer corner dark shades that we placed. Because we're going to make a gradient with the shimmer shades as well. Now that the darkest one's laid down, I'm going to go in with Soothe Metallic, which is the kind of sandy brown shade. And that's going to go just beside the shade we just laid down, and not quite to the inner corner, but kind of the middle of the eye. And no worries about the outer corner. We are going to go back in and blend that out. The next shade I'm going to go into is the Aura Metallic right here, and that's going to go on the inner corner. And the gradient is very subtle on the eye, but you can still see that variation in color. And you can use a glitter glue if you'd prefer. I'm just kind of easy peasy, and there's only really certain times if I'm actually going to be wearing my eyeshadow out for a long period of time that I'll wear glitter glue. But for content, I don't usually end up wearing it super long, so no point. And I'm adding just a little bit more of that lightest shimmer. I really love that. It's so subtle, but it's so pretty. The gradient shift in the shimmers is what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've got all the shimmers laid down where I want them. So now I'm going to go in on the outer corner. And since you can pretty much still see the black there, I'm actually going to go in with the, ooh, if I don't drop the whole palette, with the Ritual Matte shade and blend out that shimmer shade with the dark brown instead of the black, since the black is still pretty prominent. And you can just see how much better that goes into the shimmer shades than this eye does where I haven't blended. So this is a super important step, and you don't want to skip it if you're doing your eyeshadow along with me. If you're super accurate and precise when you put your shimmers down, you don't necessarily have to do this step, but I'm not always the most accurate or precise because I like to use my finger. All right, I went ahead and did my base makeup off camera, as well as smoked out the under eyes with the Ritual Matte and Soothe Matte and Ritual Matte shades. That's what I smoked out the under eyes with. And I added a little bit of the e.l.f. Lash Extender Mascara. And that is going to be it for this Gone for Good look. I hope you had fun kind of digging into makeup's past, so to speak, with me. She's hinted at her own brand again, and I really hope it's true, because if you own this palette, then you know how high quality it is, how good it is, the blendability, the pigmentation. The list goes on of how good this palette is. It's hefty. It has a gigantic mirror. I'm going to try to show that to you without blinding you. Yeah, see, you can see that giant mirror. The only thing I don't like is the packaging does bend rather easily, although you could kind of stand it up like this for a travel situation. But needless to say, this is a fantastic palette. I'm so glad I bought it. I'm glad it's in my collection. And thanks for coming on this journey with me. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.